Hi, it's David here, CEO and founder of the Freedom Founders community. I remember back coming out of the 2008 great financial crisis, how much despair there was in the overall economy. And people, consumers were spent, they were over leveraged, people were losing their houses, we had the subprime mortgage collapse, and it was really a time when the country was really at a bottom point in the overall economy. People call it the Great Recession of 2008, 9, and 10, the greatest recession that we've had since the Great Depression back in the 30s. That being said, there are always people who make it through these times of economic contraction, and they happen on a regular basis, maybe not as deep as we had in 2008, but they regularly happen. And you can read the writing on the wall. The tea leaves are there to know what's going to happen. We've been talking about this in Freedom Founders for, I guess, a good number of years, really expecting us to have a downturn or correction way before now. I think we're in the starting phase of one, and if not for the election that's coming up in just a few months in November, I think we'd already be in one. But we know that the way the government, the Federal Reserve, the Treasury manipulates the monetary system, they can push things down the road a good ways until they can't anymore. I truly believe that if they can get it pushed to the election, meaning keep the economy floating on all the debt, all the spending, all the credit expansion, that after the election, no matter who wins, there's going to be a massive correction. So the writing's on the wall. Now here's why I tell you this. Again, it happens every time there's a major correction. 2008 hit, no one saw it coming. Even the Federal Reserve chair back at the time, Bernanke, said housing is all fine, it's all good. They make it up. You have to understand that what you read in the journals, the business news, the mainstream media, it's all made up. It's all made up to try to calm the storm. We have a government that is really irresponsible across the board. And the only reason we are able to float the debt that we float today is because we still hold the reserve currency of the globe, the dollar. But the dollar is at risk. It's at high risk, and probably we're at one of the most dangerous times, I think, in our country's history right now, because economic collapse means lack of national security and unwinds from there. But how do you position yourself under the things you can control? Well, I've always talked about having your own house in order. That means making sure your debt, the debt that you still carry, is fixed long-term, or pay it off. Get rid of it. Reduce your spending. Get your overhead in your business down to as low a marginal level as you can. Get efficient as you can. Be wary. Just wary of expansion. I'm not saying don't expand if you have an opportunity to expand, but do it carefully. Do it with resolve, and be careful again of variable rate debt. On the investment side, this is where most people miss it because they're not ready for it, because they're taking care of their family and their home budget and their business, and they're trying to sort things out. They're not ready for the opportunity that comes every time there's a major correction in the economy. I had the first time to really take advantage of this back in 2008. Up until then, I'd been working hard in my business, my practice. Yes, I built up a real estate portfolio that was carrying the weight. I exited my practice back in 2006 because of my daughter's situation with her health. And I had the first opportunity because I was literally there on the front door of when the correction happened and assets went on sale. I'll say it again, assets went on sale. I'm talking about the financial markets took its hit by 50%. If you're a player in the stock market, you certainly could buy down deep and ride it back up, which a lot of people did. I'm not a financial market player, so I didn't do that game. I'm a tangible asset investor. I like real estate or businesses, but real estate's the one I really enjoy because I just became good at it, and I have a network of people that I can rely on to make it happen. So when everything collapsed back in 2008, 9, and 10, and no one had any liquidity, there's no liquidity, no credit, no ability to finance things, people were selling their assets to try to get liquidity back, that's the time to buy. And it's here again on our front doorstep. But you've got to be ready to do it. You've got to be positioned. Where's your capital base? Do you have to have money set aside? Do you have money that you've moved out of the market into higher ground, like money markets or treasuries? Do you have money in retirement accounts? If you move it to self-direction, where you can actually invest in alternatives, are you set up there? It's too late once this happens and things start to roll. You've got to be ready. You've got to have access points. You've got to have a network. You've got to have enough education to understand where the opportunities are. This is all, I'm preparing you all for what's coming. And it's not a time to be dismal or feel depressed. It's a time to be ready, to get ready. We can't control what the markets do. We can't control what the government does. But what we can control is how prepared we can be to take advantage of the opportunities. Get through the gap period, and be ready to buy those assets. I did it in 2008, more than doubled my net worth.
more than double my net worth coming out of 2008. You can do the same thing, but you've got to be prepared. You've got to know what to do. You've got to have access to the right investments at the right time. It's all about your freedom. I hope you're ready to take the action that you need.